From WKYT Podcast, this is Uniquely Kentucky. I'm your host, Amber Philpott. Hello, podcast listeners. How are we doing this week? It's important that we ask one another that question these days, no matter where you're listening in from. I hope you're staying healthy at home if you can. And if you are out working, you're taking care of yourself. Here at WKYT, we just realized this week, as I'm putting out this episode, that we are approaching day 50 of our COVID-19 coverage. It's been a long haul, and we still aren't to the end. However, we do see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Life, it seems, going forward is going to look a little different. Our new normal will be something we probably couldn't have imagined. At this point, we are all longing for some normal. Those things that we once enjoyed that maybe have been halted, like sports. Here in Kentucky, many of us bleed blue. We saw the basketball season come to a screeching halt before the Cats ever hit the court in the SEC tournament. That now has many Big Blue fans looking ahead to the fall and to UK football. While there is not a plan yet, there have been some suggestions from the experts that sports, maybe like football, could be played, but without any spectators. Who knows? It's still really early. To talk a little football, though, this week I'm sitting down with senior offensive tackle and Lexington, Kentucky native Landon Young. He decided to return to the Cats and forego entering the NFL draft. Young sat out in 2018 redshirting due to an injury. He is known for his play on the field, but he's also known for his good works off the field, having been named the 2019 captain for the Allstate Good Works team. He's a guy that loves football, but he's also a farm kid at heart.
Uniquely Kentucky with Amber Philpott is brought to you by the WKYT News and Weather apps, available on the App Store and Google Play.
I am joined this week by a guy that I know has made a lot of Big Blue fans happy by returning to the football field this upcoming fall. Landon Young, welcome. How are you holding up these days? How is life treating you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well. I hope you're doing the same. And I'm definitely staying busy, between working out and being able to do all that to stay in shape for football season and keep my stamina, keep my conditioning. But, I've been able to, get out and get on my farm a little bit, we've been laying about 10,000 foot of water pipe so we can get city water on our farm finally. And so it gives me a little bit of peace of mind being in a little more rural area and get back out in God's country a little bit.
That's pretty good, right? It's good for the soul.
Absolutely. It makes me feel like I'm doing something.
Talk to me about the decision to return to UK and to not enter your name into the NFL draft. Why was it important to have that senior year? Because I know you had some injuries, you have set out in your career at UK, and it seemed like it was really important for you to get back on the field one last time.
There was a bunch of different factors that came along with that. I talked to a lot of people, had a lot of different things just poured into my head with that. One of the big reasons was, again, I was injured season before last, and that sort of put a hindrance on my sort of level that I would be going in the draft because they only had, again, 1 year after my injury to sort of base off of tape. Along with that, it's just another chance to go out and improve on some of my crafts that I knew I needed to improve on to be able to go into the NFL and be able to play pretty soon and not be a guy that's going to sit around for a year before he gets to play. But besides that, I felt like I had some unfinished business. I came here for 3 years, and I had to, or 4 years now, and I had to sit out that year, and I felt like I sort of I missed a season that was, one of the most historic seasons we've ever had in the history of UK football. And so being able to come back and just sort of finish what I came here to do and sort of change the program around, put us on a winning track, and, sort of get a different mentality into that football program.
You are a guy that grew up right here in Lexington. You graduated from Lafayette, and you have been quoted, Landon, as saying the university is more than a school. It's my home. And it seems like it's been really important to you to suit up and to be able to put that blue and white across your chest every single game.
And it's just a pride thing about being where you're at in your state. I didn't watch a whole lot of football, but the team that I did watch was UK, of course, because it was a hometown school. And just being able to sort of give back a little bit to the community, be able to go out there and wear the state that I love so much across my chest and just be able to represent them in a good way on and off the field was what I wanted to be able to sort of accomplish. I've always heard through my life that signing to a college isn't a 4-year decision, it's a 40-year decision. And I believe that true and wholeheartedly, that, Lexington has taken care of me so far, and they're going to continue to take care of me as long as I keep my nose clean, do what I'm supposed to do. But just being able to sort of have that pride of where you live, where your family is, be able to just sort of reflect how they raised you, how the city of Lexington took care of you. That's the biggest thing for me of wearing that Kentucky across my chest.
Landon, what was it like for you when you got that call because of COVID-19 that everything was coming to a halt, that football was ceasing in the middle of spring training? What was it like, and how did you comprehend that, wow, football isn't going to be a part of my life right now?
I felt it was a matter of time when we were going to get that call, when I started seeing the NBA and everything else sort of shut down. And, it kind of makes you distraught at first because that's what you work all season for. That's why you work year-round. This is a really crucial part of anybody across the nation's football season, is sort of that improvement that you get through spring ball. It's a chance to get out there and get some pads on, be able to hit each other, improve that game that you're getting ready to go into, of course, a month off, and then come back and hit it hard right before season. But this is that time that, you can make all the mistakes you want, all the mistakes you need to be able to really improve your craft. This isn't the time that you need to fine-hone things because you're getting ready to play actual other teams. So, of course, it made me upset. It made the whole team upset because you miss that time lifting. You miss that time with your guys, creating those bonds, especially on the offensive line where we're such a tight-knit group, and you have to be a tight-knit group. It sort of cuts out that face-to-face time with our coaches and each other, and that makes it hard. But I think our team's going to make the most of it. I know we got a lot of guys that have a mentality that they want to come back and we want to win an SEC championship and win as many games as we can. So I have all the faith in the world that they're working off the field while we can't be in there.
Well, speaking of the guys and your teammates, how are you keeping in touch with them? Because I know that those bonds that you talk about are really important to keep going and to get ready for the next season. So how is it that you guys are staying in touch, and even with the coaches?
So actually right now, twice a week we have Zoom meetings. So we get online, even though it's not in person, and we get on there and we sort of just learn a little bit more about each other, from the young guys to the old guys that just came in, the early enrollees, everything. We just sort of we're able to talk to each other and sort of just get a basis of where everybody's from, what they like doing outside of football, why they chose Kentucky. And then along with that, we watched a little bit of film. We were able to finish up the rest of our spring film that we weren't able to watch because we sort of got evicted from the facility pretty quick. But so we're still able to talk on that. And, of course, some guys I'm sure are getting around each other, and we're getting some workouts in. And it's always good to work out with somebody because it's another little driving force to keep you in shape.
Speaking of those workouts, you told me that you finally got the home gym set up, and it sounds like it was a little bit of a DIY project. So how is Landon Young working out these days, and what did you actually build?
Absolutely. So me and my dad, we actually built a little DIY squat rack. It's fully made out of wood, and then pipes, of course, for your safety bars and your things to hold the bar. We got a hold of some bars and some weights, and then we made a bench rack as well. So we can get pretty much everything we need to do on our main core lifts, and then sort of improvise on our other lifts that need free weights with just plates and stuff. But we were able to get a full little setup there, get some mats from Tractor Supply so that we can have a power clean station and sort of be able to have those bumper plates not hit the concrete. But get a full setup there so I can get pretty much any workout that we would do in an SEC program at home.
Landon, UK football, you can really feel it. There for a long time, there was a stigma about football here, but you have seen the tides changing. So what has it been like to be a part of a program and to sort of see some of that stigma lifted under Coach Stoops and what he's been able to do, and to be able to show the Big Blue Nation that UK is a football school, it can be a football school, and that you guys are here to do good things on the field every single weekend when you go out there to play?
It's awesome because that is the reason that we came to this program. That's why the 2016 group that came in with me and Cash and Drake and all those guys, we came here to change the program. We came here to turn this program around. We came to this program to make us a winning football team. And so to finally see that hard work that we put in year after year and sort of the recruit classes that we built year after year sort of pay off is just awesome. And it's a little self-gratifying because you notice that your hard work is finally paying off, but you also realize that this is not the last step, that this has to continue to grow, that you have to continue to push to change the mentality, to change the season, the work ethic, everything against that program, these last couple bits, to be able to leave that mark and be able to continue to let that program rise.
There's been some talk about what might happen in the fall. Earlier this week, Governor Andy Beshear here in Kentucky was asked about high school athletics and football in the fall for schools. And he said, maybe we might get to a point where with no spectators, there could be some football. And, of course, still on the table about college athletics. Landon, how would you feel about going out and playing without any fans? And would you feel comfortable doing it?
I've had a couple people actually ask me this just on free time, and I love the fans. Trust me, like the fans, make games awesome, and rushing out in front of 65,000 people, and the BBN is just, it's a one-of-a-kind fan base, and they treat us well, and they always support us no matter what our season looks like, no matter what the game is. But at the end of the day, I came to University of Kentucky to play football, and that's the game that I love. And so with fans or without fans, I don't want people to get upset thinking that we don't care about our fans, because we truly do and we love them. But at the same time, whether we had fans or not, like, it's still a game that I love. I'm still going to go out there and play football, and I'm still going to play a season like it would be normally, even if you didn't have fans. Because at the end of the day, we play football because we love it, and it's not because of the fans. It's not because of the facility. It's not because of the stadiums we play in. It's because we love the game of football. And if you're not into this game because you love football, then you're in it for the wrong reasons.
Let's talk about your teammates, Landon. I'm sure you're close with all of your guys on the line, but is there someone that you look up to or that you feel closer to on the team?
Before of course our seniors graduated, I was really close with Stenberg, of course, the guy that played next to me for the last 3 years. And that's going to be sort of a missing piece in the puzzle. But I definitely think we have some other pieces that will replace that very well. I'm very close with, of course, the guys I came in this class with, Luke Fortner and Drake Jackson, and got really close with DK. He came in real young and started playing really young too, just as I did. And so the whole offensive line in general is really, really close. I can't really specify one group that is, or one person that I'm really closer to than others, because we try to make it to where the whole offensive line is one cohesive group. We try not to pinpoint, the seniors hang out with the seniors or the juniors hang out with the juniors. We try to make it to where every single grade that comes in, every single person that comes into the offensive line room feels equal, and that we're all really, really close-knit group.
Who's the biggest clown on the team?
Biggest clown on the team? I would probably have to say Day-Day Hawkins. He is a true clown. He likes to dance around. He likes to poke fun. He likes to definitely get in everybody's mind, get that sort of mentality rose during practice. And him and, of course, Bully McCall, those guys sort of feed off each other.
Landon, I've actually thought about you during this pandemic, oddly, because you are a guy that really gives of himself off the field. And you are known to be a great visitor to the folks at Cambridge Place, which is a senior living facility here in Lexington. You volunteer there. I mean, in February, they named the Landon Young dining hall after you. And I've thought about you because these places are places that have been hit hard with this pandemic, and also just having, the visitor restrictions. It seems like it means a lot to you to be able to give back and to be able to visit these folks.
It's been hard to not be able to go to them, and I've talked to Tim Biggs quite a bit just to sort of keep up with how the nursing home's doing. And they haven't said that anybody's been sick there yet, but they're still, pretty much on shutdown to make sure that no one in there, because they're very highly compromisable. And but again, it sucks that I haven't been able to been there, but I know that me not being able to go there right now is helping their safety and helping them be able to live healthy lives. It has shut down a lot of other stuff that, people have been doing in the community, and it stinks that so many things are shut down and so many people are not being able to do the things that they want. But that's a big part of a lot of people's lives on the team, especially the offensive line. I know you, Luke Fortner and Drake and me included, we've gone to the Children's Hospital quite a bit as well. And, of course, that's somewhere that we can't really go because they want to completely cut out the risk of this COVID being spread to them. But, again, with Cambridge Place as well, I try to stay as in touch with them as I can because that's such an important part of my life. But I just can't wait till all this clears up and they feel safe to have people back over there again, because I know a bunch of those people look forward to somebody spending some time out of their day with them. And, it just gives them a little bit of hope, a little bit of life back into them, and, just have somebody different than just the staff there. And I'm sure all this outside media, all this outside talk, too, is sort of bringing them down as well. So be able to go back in there and just give them a little bit of something to look forward to, a little bit of pep in their step, a little bit of light in their day would be really nice once all this finishes.
You are staying healthy at home like the rest of us, but you are also in the middle of planning a wedding with your fiance. You got engaged not too long ago. So how is the wedding planning going? And is Landon Young a groom that wants to be involved in the process, or kind of letting her handle everything?
So I was a little bit more involved at the start of it. Now everything's pretty much finalized, and I've sort of sat back and let her do her thing along with my mother and her mother. They sort of just made a little triad there that they do all the wedding planning. Of course, I got the guys' suits all picked out and everything, but everything's been shut down, so we haven't been able to get fitted. But it's been definitely pretty difficult sort of planning around all these COVID restrictions, because we don't know if we're going to be able to have the full amount of people there, if we're only going to be able to have 50 people there, 10 people there. It's just going to be our parents, me, her, and the preacher and a photographer. So we've been planning around just sort of all the contingency plans that go along with it, and but I'm definitely letting her take more of the brunt of it now. This is her dream, or it is my dream to get married, but it's her dream to have the perfect wedding, and I don't want to interfere with that or make her change her mind on anything.
Landon, as I've been doing this podcast now through COVID-19, I've tried to ask people, what they're learning through this. I guess in the end of this pandemic, when we come out of it, the one thing I guess I hope is that, myself, that we have learned something about ourselves or about the way we go about life. So what have you learned, being at home and going through this?
It's just everything that we take for granted. And I sort of learned a lesson from this coming from my mission trip in Ethiopia is, even in regular day life, how much we took advantage of and took for granted that we have, and the opportunities we have, and just how easy it is for us to go down the street and go order some food at a restaurant. Little things like that we take for granted, that even in this time of quarantine, we still have so much more than we could ever ask for. That even in like a situation like this, that we have so much more than anybody in Ethiopia has. And so, just be grateful for what we have, and being able to count your blessings on the other side of things. Like we so much look at this COVID quarantine stuff as, such a hindrance in our schedule and such a hindrance in everything else. But you have to look at the bright side on the other side of things. Is even though some people may not be working right now, some people may, have got laid off, get fired, whatever it is, you have to look at the positives on, how much time you've been able to spend with your family, and count the blessings with those. How many times you've been able to, go around the house and get everything done that your wife's been telling you that you need to be done for the last 3 years. It's little things like that we need to, really just look back on and just say, I'm completely blessed, even though we're in a time of this. And again, just rely on God. At the end of the day, He is the number one guy that's in charge of our lives, and He has a plan for all of this. And if you just have faith and trust in that, then everything will be fine. God will bring us all through this.
Well said, Landon. Well said. Last question to you. we're going to get through this. And when we do see that full light at the end of the tunnel, we hope that that means that it is fall and that football is upon us. What do you want to say to the Big Blue Nation as we look ahead to what we hope is going to be a really awesome season? What would you like to say to those folks?
Oh, I just say be ready, because I definitely think that this season is going to be one to remember. I think that we're going to continue to climb. We're going to continue to do better. We'll have some different people in the lineup, some young talent that didn't have their time to shine, but now is their time to shine. We're going to have quarterbacks back. We're going to have sort of rotations being able to figure out, and some missing pieces that were from last year. We're going to be able to finally put those back together and just sort of continue to climb. I'd say look out for a really amazing season, because we got a bunch of guys that are playing for their future and playing for the BBN and playing for Kentucky.
A big thank you to Landon Young for giving us some time this week, and we're all going to be cheering for him come this fall as he suits up for his senior year in the blue and white for the Kentucky Wildcats. As always, thank you so much for listening. I hope you're staying healthy at home, and until next time, I'll see you on the news on WKYT.